Let's be real as fuck about life, real estate, and entrepreneurship. Hi, I'm Julie Chin. You can call me Jules. The Real as Fuck brand is all about providing tools and resources to help new and struggling agents succeed. I share my personal experience not only as a new real estate agent, but also how I overcame the odds starting out as a single mom with a mountain of debt and a ton of self-doubt. Hi, welcome to the Real as Fuck podcast. I'm your host, Julie Chin, and today I'm here with the Rockstar Luxe ladies.
I'm Sarah Nason.
We discussed this before we started, and I'm
That's
Claire.
okay, and we're just going with it.
We're all here. That's the important thing.
Who are you?
How are
Did you say who you were?
Me? I think I did. It might
I
have cut me off.
talked over
I'm
her.
Marissa.
I'm sorry.
Well, you did it again.
Sorry, Marissa.
Marissa, please say hi.
Hello, I am Marissa.
All right. You know what? I think this is fun. I really like all the mixed mistakes.
The chaos?
Look, I can't even say the darn word. All right. It has been a while since we have been together. And I'd like to start with updates. What's been going on with you guys?
Not a whole lot for me. This is about honesty, right? This is about telling it how it is. But lately, okay, it's been great, and I've closed 3 deals since. Just kidding. It's been going, right? I'm just one step at a time, not giving up, still keeping at it. Today I had showings, which was great. It was very fun. Yeah, that's mostly what I've been doing, is talking to people on the phone and recently showings. That's my update.
And what about like follow-up? What are you doing behind the scenes?
Texting so many people, and I've been working on a lot of soft leads, texting people that might not even know that somebody has their information. Sad, but I've been doing a lot of that, and people have been pretty nice. So that's good. I think it's the summer air. I think it's the sunshine. I think it helps with people's attitudes towards random strangers texting them.
Have you been hearing back from any on that one?
Yeah, I've heard back from a couple, but it's definitely, you reach out to a lot of people and you don't hear back from, obviously as many people as you reach out to. But even for just the one, it's worth it. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, and you have thick skin. You can totally deal with that. You went door knocking.
I
did. Look up to you.
That's my claim to fame in this group is that I've been door knocking. And we're going to do it together sometime. So,
yes, we are.
So some say. We'll see.
I will do just about anything to not go door knocking.
I mean, even if you just come along and stand, quietly in the background, you can say you did it, I guess. Hold the basket of cookies or, merch, whatever.
Merch. I would definitely be hiding.
You and your hair. We love your hair.
We should get pencils, and then she can keep it in her hair, and then that will be the little merch. Rockstar Luxe pens and pencils right from her hair. You could put it in your hair too, Marissa, because you have really curly hair, and I think it could hold a lot.
I think it could hold a lot.
This is my marketing
We really run sideways. Love it.
Pens would get stuck.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway.
We'll give them something to laugh at. Anyway, yeah.
Moving on from me, somebody else.
Marissa, I feel like you have a lot going on.
It feels like I've had a lot going on lately. A lot of personal life stuff, but also a lot of real estate stuff mixed in. So it's been interesting finding a balance lately. But I've had a property go under contract. I don't think I had that before, so that's cool.
Yay.
Woohoo.
Yay.
Exciting stuff.
And I think my very first listing, I don't think I had that last time either, so I'm excited about that.
Making big moves, Marissa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you have another one.
Oh, yeah. And I guess that's the one I was thinking about. So the land one I think I did have before.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this will be 2.
Yeah. So very
casual.
Cool. Exciting.
Yep.
Just glossed over that like it wasn't a really big deal that you've got like
multiple things
under contract. You've got more under contract right now than I do.
Oh no. Yeah. Just, humble bragging.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then you have a possible development that you're tossing your hat in the ring on.
Yep, that is terrifying. I do not like talking on the phone, and there's been a lot of that lately, so.
Girl, all you have to do is say, just a moment, I need to merge calls. Boom, and then I'm on.
Yes, that is true. I need to get better at that. I fumble with technology.
Get better at it? How about just start?
Just start. I'm going to start somewhere.
Do it once. That's
Practice makes better.
Mm-hmm.
And then how's your follow-ups going?
Follow-ups have been okay. I think that the other stuff has taken over a little bit. So I do need to be mindful of not just getting lost in what's now and thinking about the future.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that's actually an issue with agents everywhere is they start handling the deals and they focus on that and they kind of put a pause on looking for more deals or just doing that basic lead generation. So it's kind of tricky. You've got to just be doing it all at the same time.
Yep.
Takes a little while to get there, but definitely just be aware.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely an area I could grow in.
That's why we're here, right? To learn from each other.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like all I've done is follow up with people. So I envy.
It's going to pay off.
Yes, it will. One of these days.
It really will. No, for sure. I'm on a mission to make sure you're under contract on something this summer.
Okay. Yeah, July, right? By July.
Yep. Yeah.
You can do it.
We'll get it done. It'll be great.
You got this.
It'll be easy.
Yeah.
Right.
Put you out on the street by Walmart with that great big sign. Let me
sell your house.
Let me sell your house.
I think if people just had the 5 minutes to talk to me, then they'd give me a chance, but it's all right. I won't hold it against anybody. It's fine.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Sarah.
I feel like I've been so busy this month. The only unfortunate thing is I have just been doing back-to-back showings with clients, with customers, with new people, but I have not been writing nearly as many offers as I was the previous months. I feel like I've been doing 4 times as much showings, and yet people are leaving properties a little disappointed, or they just don't feel like joining in that multiple offer situation. When we find out, we get to the showing, the listing agent's like, yeah, we've got 4 offers on the property. And then my clients are just like, it's not worth it. So I feel like I've been doing a ton of work, but not quite. I don't quite have that showing to offer writing conversion that I would like to have. So, I mean, you got to put in the reps, but yeah.
Just like with Claire, doing the work, it'll come around. It's people that just take that pause and then they're wondering, 30, 60 days later why they don't have anything closing. Mm-hmm. So you just have to keep at it. It can be discouraging.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I think I've got quite a few that are very, very close to writing offers. So, and we're at least recording this anyways right now. We're coming up on 4th of July week. So I always write an offer every time I have a holiday or a vacation. So I'll be writing an offer this weekend. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it being July 4th weekend coming up.
I did. Oh. And I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, well, we're having a barbecue.
Very cool.
Awesome.
And tubing. Yeah. Anyway, not real estate. Yes. Down near river.
We're happy to hear. We're happy to hear you're going to have a good time.
That sounds like so much fun. I don't think I've ever gone tubing down a river outside of like summer camp.
You should come. You should all come.
Yeah.
Julie doesn't like that, right? That's not your thing.
I haven't done it in a long time. I would, though.
Well,
it's so cold, and I'm a Florida girl.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
You can't heat that.
That's the point.
I wish you could. I know, right? On really hot days, the river's so full with everyone cooling off, and I'm like, oh,
although it's been doing nothing but raining here this month, it feels like, so maybe the water will be really high. So maybe we won't go, but hopefully.
It's wicked high today.
Actually. Yeah. Oh, I drove by. Crazy. Wouldn't want to be in that, that's for sure.
So I have shown kind of, I don't know if it's a record for me or not, but it's definitely higher than like February through May. That's how many I've just been in a ton of houses this month. Almost 40. Right? In the month, we still have some time left in the month. 10 offers. So my thing is, okay, there's a lot of offers written. 5 under contract. So there's a lot. I know there's two ways to look at it. There's a lot under contract, but there's also a lot that aren't. And so I definitely have a lot of clients that are getting really frustrated with the market. So I just feel like it's 2021 all over again. Multiple offer hell, if you will, which is great for the seller and awful for the buyer. And it just becomes a long road for them and they get frustrated. And so, that's part of our job is helping the clients through that and keeping their spirits up and focused on what they really want. Because this is a time where, so they come to us with a checklist, right, of what they want in a property. And they have wants and needs, and they're sort of all interspersed. They're all really, really important. And then fast forward through the long process of viewing homes and putting in offers. Now all of a sudden they see a house that isn't anything like what they really wanted in the beginning. And they're like, okay, let's put an offer in on that. And it's like, no. Can I just go back over what you really wanted in the property? Because I know you're getting discouraged and frustrated. And I want to make sure that you're not settling too much. So, we have to wear all sorts of hats with this job.
Yeah.
And I appreciate everybody's update. I was thinking, how about we get into common client objections and how you handle those?
I really don't think I would have.
You were going there.
Okay.
But you're making these you're not making phone calls so much, but you're doing the texts and the emails, and aren't you getting some pushback or no?
Yeah, but it's polite, I guess. Everybody's like, thank you, or who are you? How did you get my information? I got one of those today.
Well, we said common objections and how to handle, not like just all negative, rude ones. So it's everything, and you are dealing with that right now. So how do you navigate that?
Well, I think I'm still learning how to do it because when I send out my emails, my texts, even if I do phone calls, when I get an objection, it's usually always the same thing. It's usually, thanks, we weren't really looking to have an agent is usually what I get. Like, we weren't really looking for representation. We were just browsing, or we were just, entertaining the idea, I guess, of buying. So then usually I say, well, I'm happy to help. Is there, can I set up a search for you? Is usually what I'll say, with criteria that you're looking for, budget, space you want to look. So the objection that I get is usually just, we'll reach out to you. We'll let you know when we want to do that, Thanks, but no thanks, I guess.
And do you keep them on your list? And
I keep them on my list, but I don't bother them. Like, I'll put them...
So what's that mean exactly?
Like, I'm not going to be texting them every week. Like, if they have said, we'll reach out to you, no thanks, I take that and I go with it. I'll put them into the database. I'll add whatever tags, looking, but, sometimes people just ask me straight up not to reach out to them, and then that's fine, Yeah. But, yeah, I feel like it just depends on the person's response, because people can say the same thing in different ways. So someone might be really rude about it, and then you say, okay, no problem, and somebody might be more nice about it, and you might push a little more and, really try to set up a search for them. But yeah, I don't know. I think I just try to respect people's boundaries, because I put myself in their position. If I just got a text one day from a real estate agent, I'd be, first of all, how? I would have the same reaction, like, how do you know, like, I even exist, and where did you find my number? And if I asked somebody, please, I'll reach out to you. Some people mean it, some people don't. They're never going to talk to you again. But I think that's okay. It's not a big deal. That's really the only, I feel like, obstacle or pushback I've had in that area to date. But I'm sure you guys have different experiences with it.
Yeah. Do you put those people on like a newsletter?
Some of them.
Chain, the emails that go out.
Some of them, yeah. Not all of them. Like the ones who really don't want anything to do with an agent right now. I don't.
Yeah. Go away, Claire.
Yeah, right. I'm like, okay, well, I probably shouldn't send you an email every month then, if you really don't want anything to do with me, a stranger. It's understandable. Totally. It's totally understandable.
Yeah. You have to follow the rules. And they can opt out, so that's always an option too.
Yeah.
What about you, Sarah?
I guess there's like a lot of different objections that buyers and sellers will have. I think one of the most common ones was, why me? Why pick me as the agent and not somebody else? Especially when, like, I was showing properties to someone today that they've got, a relative that's a realtor, trying to convince them that to use me instead of a relative, or when you're going to list a property for somebody, a lot of times they're going to interview more than one agent. So kind of trying to be confident in who you are. And I think like that was something I struggled with a lot in the beginning, was because you need to be able to explain your value and what you bring. And if you are not confident in yourself, then your buyers and your sellers will pick up on that.
Totally.
So I've learned at this point to kind of like, well, explain my value, but just bring my value to them. Like sometimes you don't even need to explain it. And I think one of the easiest things to do is to just be responsive. Like you wouldn't believe, and I know that you have this usually, just the amount of people that will say, oh, you're so responsive. Thank you for getting back to me. It's like the least that we can do. And so many other people have just had that negative experiences with their realtors in the past. And just, even if you're not available right away, just saying, yep, I'll get that to you at this time or whatever. Almost every time my buyer's like, oh, no rush. Thanks for getting back to me. And I think also, if you don't have all of that experience yet, you can still lean on like your team or your brokerage and like what your company does, what your team's stats are. And I've found that has been a really big help with just that objection handling side.
Yeah, I think interest rates are definitely something that we've just heard a ton about, right? Through our customers and clients, people who were reaching out, and now all of a sudden the objection is, ooh, the interest rates are too high, I have to wait. Or, it's not the right time, that we need to wait till they go down. Well, no one has a crystal ball, no way to know when those are going to go down. And historically, they're not considered really high right now anyway.
So what do you say to those buyers
Well, I just say I totally understand your thought process, and it certainly would be great to get a 2.7% interest rate, but that's not going to be in our future. But different lenders have different product options, and you'd be surprised. You won't have to be looking at the 6.8 or the 7.2. So it would be worth us connecting with a lender, multiple lenders, and seeing what each one has to offer, because each lender does offer different products. Right when the interest rates were going up, my daughter was in the market for her first home, and I gave her, I think, 9 or 10 lenders to reach out to, because I just wanted her to get the best deal. And there was one lender that just came forward with something no one else could even touch. And that was right in the midst of the interest rates rising. So that was pretty cool. So you just have to do your homework, and it's worth the time. And we can do that for our clients, but definitely a good idea to do it with them. Agent commissions too high. We've heard that one before, right?
Like at 2%.
Well, I want Sarah to speak on it for sure, because, well, I guess we have to watch, we're not supposed to technically talk money. I guess that's...
You're not allowed to say that it's a standard rate. So we'll leave the numbers out of it.
Yeah. We're talking about apples and oranges or chocolates.
Oh, yes. Yes. I'm having flashbacks to our real estate class.
Right. Mm-hmm. So Sarah's really good at getting the whole box of chocolates.
That's a good way to put it.
How do you do that?
Right? Well, actually, Julie, you gave me that confidence in my very first listing appointment when you asked for, a good rate, a rate that I would have been scared to ask for. And I they had maybe one quick objection to it, but then we just quickly explained, okay, well, this is our rate. And if you don't budge on that, they could say no, but they've done so much work with you up to this point, they don't usually say no.
Yeah.
On top of the fact that you are bringing them value, and regardless, you should be showing them what that value looks like, what you're going to be doing for them each day, and actually following through with what you promise.
100%.
It helps too if you come very prepared. Like we have our seller listing packets. My sellers are always very impressed when I bring one of those, and they really like it. I've actually had other agents comment on them before, usually because we have them in our email tags and stuff. So even other agents are impressed with that. So that already shows you that we're doing something that not every other agent brings to the table. True, quite literally,
yeah.
Brings
Shout
to the table.
Shout out to Alicia for creating that for
I
us.
know. And I know each state is probably definitely going to have different rules and regulations when it comes to things. But I know one thing that helps a lot when someone's very adamant about a lower commission is doing that variable rate, because I know we can do that in New Hampshire at least, if you are a dual agent and you also bring the buyer, because also not every state allows dual agency. So offering that is a good way to say, if another co-broke is bringing a buyer, we want to, offer them a reasonable commission. But if I bring a buyer, I will reduce my rate since I'm the one bringing them. I've found that helped on my very first deal. Now, I won't say I win every single one of those arguments. There's been times where I don't, especially when you start to get into waterfront listings and higher priced properties. A lot of agents will really cut down their commission, so that makes it very challenging to be able to get those listings. Mm-hmm. But understanding what's actually worth it for you as the agent in the end, because you don't want to cheap yourself out, but also you want to be reasonable.
There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, there is.
What have you come across, Marissa?
Similar to Claire, I'd say. I feel like I haven't come across many objections, but that could be because I'm not as good at recognizing when there is an objection, and I'm just saying okay because I'm kind of a pushover. So that could be part of it, honestly. One of the things that I have a hard time with is the buyer agency agreement. That can be an uncomfortable one for me, and knowing the right time to present that. Because there's definitely been times where I presented that maybe too soon, and then I did get that objection. Well, we're not really ready yet, or no response at all is also sometimes
denied.
An issue.
Denied.
So yeah.
And what would you say if how would you handle the objection?
Can I guess?
You can guess.
What'd you say?
I said, can I guess how she would handle it?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, no problem. I'll leave you alone. Yeah, honestly, I don't feel like I have a good come around. I think it depends on the situation. Like in some instances, I've probably said, okay, we don't have to rush into anything right now. Happy to get you set up with a search or something like along those lines. I think for me, I always try to figure out a way to keep in connection with them somehow. That way, at least I haven't totally scared them away. But there is at least one that I think I totally scared away and never responded to anything again. So, yeah, that's uncomfortable.
In the beginning, I think.
Yeah, you live and you learn.
Me too.
Yeah. When you think about it, though, I mean, it's one thing, occasionally someone can get spooked, yes, because you're just kind of shoving contracts in their face, and, people don't always like that.
Yeah. Hello, here's a contract.
Right. I know.
Oh, and my name is. Get it in there.
But are you wanting to work with somebody that is not going to be cooperative in the beginning? You're just at the beginning of a relationship with somebody, if they're already not really wanting to sign documents and be cooperative, I feel like that's kind of at least the yellow flag in the beginning, and you're like, oh, when does this kind of turn into a red flag when they don't want to, actually be cooperative in this? Because especially in this market, the buyers have to work quickly and make decisions and be confident in their decisions. So,
yep. For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. What about another agent will put my house on the market for more money?
I feel like,
even if you haven't dealt with it, what do you feel like your go-to response could be?
My initial reaction. Sorry, what did you say? I'm sorry, I totally cut you off.
I was just going to say, because it's a good exercise just to kind of get your brain thinking that way.
Yeah,
even if you haven't dealt with it yet. Yeah,
when I hear that, my initial reaction is just because they say we can list it for a higher price doesn't mean you're going to get that. It would be better to list it at a more reasonable price and get multiple offers, and maybe it would turn into a bidding war. Maybe it would turn into a multiple offer situation. You have more likelihood of that happening with a reasonable price than you would with a higher price. Just because, that does not equal that amount. Just because you put it for that doesn't mean that's what you're going to get. Yeah, that's my initial thought, but I don't know if that's.
Well, and the truth is they might be going that high either because they really do truly believe that that's what it's going to garner, or they want to get the listing. So their thought process is, right or wrong, hey, if I throw this higher number out, I'll get it, instead of, the next few agents that are waiting in line for a listing appointment.
Yeah, but ultimately, you list the property at what the seller wants to list it at.
Agreed.
Right. So.
Yep. So just for me, I just have that conversation with them. It's interesting because you can ask some sellers, what number are you wanting? And it's almost like some, not all, think it's a game. Well, I'm not going to tell you. I want to know what you think. Well, Okay. Because they don't want to influence or have you pick their number, I guess. I don't know. It's just silly. Like, tell me what you want for your property.
Yeah.
It's really not a trick question. I don't have a hidden agenda in there.
Yeah.
Another one would be, I don't want to lower my price. This comes up. So I can tell you what I do is I have that conversation at the beginning of the listing appointment that, if we're on the market a couple weeks, we might need to sit down and reevaluate our price that we've got it listed at, depending on, what are we experiencing? Are we not getting any calls at all? Are we getting calls and some traffic? Are we getting a lot of traffic and no offers? So you've really got to evaluate everything that's going on to make that determination of when the right time is to change the price. Typically, if you have something on the market and you're not getting calls or showings, you need to drop the price. But it can be easier for agents later to have the conversation up front. And that way the seller's not caught off guard. Mm-hmm. And if they don't want to lower it, guess what? It's their house. Mm-hmm. They don't have to.
Yeah.
We can't, there's no bullies. You agree with all that, Sarah? Your experience?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Actually, I'd say that that's one of the hardest objection handlers because you're already coming to them with bad news. Sorry, your house is worth $200,000 less than what you think it is. Mm-hmm. But, like you said, I think it's mostly important to make sure you give them those expectations up front. If it's going to be listed higher than what you think it is, because you can tell them, like explain to them, okay, if someone's coming in with financing, your house is not going to appraise for this.
Right.
So now you're limiting a very large pool of buyers of someone that's going to have to either have all cash offer or have a very large extra amount of cash that they are willing to use to cover an appraisal gap.
Right. Absolutely.
You've also got sellers will say, well, I don't want to underprice my house. In this market right now, you can't underprice your house. You're going to have, like Claire said, multiple offers. And if that's the case, the market always will correct itself and it will go up to what the house is truly worth at that point. And you didn't waste your time, even your seller's time, of having to clean up the house, move out, to go and have showings, to then come back in and then have a showing 2 days later. Oh, got to take out the trash, got to clean up all the rooms, get the dogs out, clean up all the hair. Like just doing that for months on end. I mean, that gets exhausting for a seller to only have to drop their price and just it's just going downhill in their minds the whole time to just where you could have started it at in the beginning.
Yeah. Last year I had 2 clients who wanted a certain price point and also didn't want to budget from the price point. And there weren't a tremendous amount of showings, but there was definitely a good number of showings, but they didn't want to move on that price. So what we ended up ultimately doing, out of exhaustion in both situations, took it off the market because they were just so tired of keeping their house showing ready every single day in case somebody would call and want to come through it. And I've checked in with both this year and they're like, yeah, no, we're good. We don't want to do that again. And I don't blame them. I'd be terrible if my house was on the market. I already know that.
Yeah. At least you recognize that, right?
Oh, just the thought just completely freaks me out. Yeah. So I try to, because of how I feel, it's easy for me to understand the position of the sellers and have those conversations with them because it's a really vulnerable and violating feeling, but it's part of the process. So what can we do to make that easier? Do you guys want to jump into realtor etiquette? That's a fun one. Because we want to teach everyone to be good agents. So text people back, return phone calls, return emails, check these things multitude of times a day. I'm a little weird, and who even knows how often I check? I would have no idea, but I'm definitely known for responding in under a minute in a lot of cases, if not most.
Yeah, that's not the normal standard for most people.
Okay. Smarty pants. What would the normal be, do you think? Or what's acceptable? How about that?
What's acceptable? I don't even want to answer
I think
that.
normal we might not like.
In your presence.
And you're recorded on a podcast. Yeah, kind of got to answer.
Okay.
Unless you just pop those buds out of your ear and take off through that door.
Run away. Pass out.
Internet trouble.
I think what I do and what's acceptable are two different things, because early on, I was just talking to Marissa about this yesterday, how early on I didn't answer an email from you and you texted me right away. Well, not right away, but pretty quickly. And you were like, hey, just so you know, this is something you need to do. And ever since then, I'm like fearful. So I check my email.
Oh, no.
Well, it is what it is. It's good. It's fine. But I check my email, if not every 15 minutes, every 30 to 45 minutes. I mean, it's become like a social media app for me.
Right. Yeah.
Gotta check my email. Half of it's probably junk, but yeah. So I think
then you have the opportunity to get rid of those. Click, 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 trash.
I do. Yeah, I think I'm developing a mental illness, but it's like I got an email, gotta look at it, gotta delete it. Yeah, but I think within the hour is acceptable, right?
What do you think, Sarah?
I respond. I mean, I really try to respond quickly, even if, like I said, they're wanting property documents and I just do not have my computer in front of me. And I know, like, I'm driving, I'm on, like, a marathon showing afternoon, and I'll be like, absolutely, I won't get you the property documents until around this time tonight. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. And then they're totally fine with it. At least they have an expectation that I saw their message and they know that I'm on it. And then, of course, actually delivering on whatever you promise. But
yeah, that's important.
I also think about, too, like, the other vendors that I'll use, or I think of lenders. My favorite lenders are the ones that I know if they don't answer my phone call right away, they get back to me within an hour if I've got a question on something. Or someone that might have some general availability on the weekend. I understand people are going to have their boundaries, their vacations, and their times, and I'll respect those as much as I hope people respect mine. But if that's what I'm expecting from other professionals, then that's what I know that my clients would expect from me. And why that they would continue to work with me, because it's so easy. And some clients really, they don't even do it on purpose. They'll just be clicking around on Zillow and then they end up connecting with somebody else. So if I'm not there and fulfilling their needs as someone who's looking for a house, then do I really, have I really been truly working for them in their best interests? So I usually get back pretty much right away if I can. It helps too that I've got a smartwatch that I can see who's calling me, or I get a text message. I can't respond on mine. Mine's not quite that fancy. I've just got a Fitbit, but it's enough that I know I need to go grab my phone really quick and get back to them right away, so they at least know. I feel like that has really helped.
Helpful. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So,
what about you, Marissa? Are you in the same boat as Claire, where you had to learn?
I definitely had to learn. Historically, I have not been attached to my phone by any means. I could leave it in a room and wander around outside for hours and not a care in the world. But when I started real estate, definitely had to adjust to that being different. I had to, learn to have my phone near me, at least check it more frequently. One of the things I think helped me, like Sarah said, I have an iWatch, but I also changed my, on my phone, I get notifications now. So it kind of pops up like a text message. So what I try to do is kind of monitor it through the day, as they pop up, check it, see if it's something important. And if I know it is, I get to it as soon as I can. it's definitely been easier now that I'm not at the school with the speech therapy stuff. Definitely more challenging when I did, have that going on. But so for me, definitely not like a hard set number. Just I do my best to get back as soon as possible.
Yeah. Well, good. Everyone's trained well. Woohoo!
It's definitely a switch when you become an agent, because I felt like even going through college, you get emails, but you're like, whatever, I'll get back to it when I need to. But as soon as I had to make that huge switch as well, because I think you even had to tell me at one point, Julie, about getting back, or at least responding that you got the email. Because sometimes
we've all been there.
Oh, yeah. Because even like Amy will type up some really great emails for us, and she puts all this work into it. And I'm like, oh, that's great information. But I don't even say thank you or say, yep, got it. Thanks
Shout
for
out
doing,
Amy.
Amy. Like,
yeah.
Every episode.
Yeah, I remember for Alicia that would come up. She's like, oh my gosh, I created all this stuff. No one is saying anything. They're not using it. And so that had to be, kind of a bummer. So yeah, we definitely try to be on top of that and just give our thanks. I mean, Amy actually does so much behind the scenes. We're so happy and lucky to have her.
Yep.
For sure.
I think that's kind of like a part B to the agent etiquette, is even what's your etiquette to other agents.
Right?
And
yeah,
co-brokes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's a good point.
Well, it's agent etiquette. So to me, it's across the board. So, I would say that things that I see that I'm not a fan of is not probably my biggest pet peeve would be not hearing back. I don't understand an agent who has a listing and I send a request to view the property with my client and I don't hear back from them for a day or more. Where's their cell phone? In a trunk locked up and they can't get it open? I mean, how is this possible? Everyone's carrying a phone, I figure. I mean, I get your situation was different before, Marissa, and you're probably outside with lots of dogs and, losing track of time even. But as an agent, we have our phones with us. You can't not, really. And it's almost kind of sad, right? It'd be nice to just have nothing to do with it.
Agreed.
I do miss those days. I won't lie.
Same. So I think other, like within the realm of agent etiquette is being your client's protector, protecting them from stress that they don't need because we can actually handle the issues behind the scenes. I think that's really important. And right in line with that is not oversharing. Like evaluate the situation and kind of take a step back and see if this is something that needs to be information that needs to be provided to them right this minute, or can we wait and give it a little time and see if it works itself out? Because it's just such a roller coaster for them, whether selling or buying. So if we can help alleviate some of that stress, to me, that's a huge part of our job. Being polite and courteous to fellow agents, right? We all know some that are, they should read the book. It's in the book. It's in multiple books.
Yeah.
Right. Be polite. Treat others as you would like to be treated.
I thought you meant the good book, when you said.
I was.
The Bible.
I was.
Your book?
I didn't go all the way there, but I was halfway.
Yeah. Treat people with kindness.
Open to
I think something that we can do that is huge is that when we respond in text, remember that the agent's juggling tons of different people and properties. So I like to put what I want, right? Like, hi, Steve, can I show blah, blah, blah today at 2 p.m.? Well, I shouldn't have said blah, blah, blah. So 123 Main Street. So I'm putting the property address, I'm putting the time, I'm putting my name, I'm putting the brokerage name, right? And so what's great about that is Sarah taught me. I'm always going to go on and on about this because I'm so excited. You can search your text message threads. I did not know that till when did you tell me? This year, right?
I don't know.
It's life-changing. I'm very, very grateful. Are you kidding? I should have it on a calendar to celebrate you every year. It's like that huge. Because then I can go in my text 123 Main Street and then pull everything up. But like in interactions with other clients, I just think that's just a nice, helpful, polite thing we can do so they know what proper and speak in full sentences. So there's nothing lost when you're asking and discussing properties. And you do want to end it even in text with your name and brokerage so they know who you are. I think that's important. This is my thing. Anybody else
Being
got
on
something?
time.
Yeah. Oh, good one.
And if something happens and your GPS reroutes you, or you're just late, or you forgot to fill up your gas tank that morning, just being communicative and just letting the other agent know right away as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And giving feedback after a showing.
Mm-hmm.
That's always helpful. And I find it a bummer if, the list agent has to like constantly reach out to the multitude of people going through the listing to say, hey, I need feedback for my property from my seller. What else you got? Anything? It really just comes down to being polite, right?
Yeah.
Be responsive, be polite, do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it.
Easy peasy.
And you win, right? Super easy.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, I think we'll go ahead and just stop here and we'll handle our other topic we were going to talk about on another day, because the reality is how to handle phone calls, whether a real estate, your sphere, cold calls, if you're dealing with paid leads like Zillow, Realtor.com, any of those. I think that is a podcast in and of itself almost. And we could even, what's the word? I hate when words escape me out when,
role play.
Role play. Thank you. You win the prize.
I think you got it before I said it anyways.
We should do cold calling on the podcast.
Okay, let's start with the role play.
Pretend.
Because what if we get a mean person on the phone? That would be awful.
That would be
and they probably want to be on the podcast. I think we'd get sued. Like, I didn't agree to be on there.
Oh, yeah, I guess
it'd be so funny. Well, I'm just thinking good content.
I'm just dying laughing over here. It would be great. We'd have to get their approval first. That'll be fun.
Be like a reality
do
TV
it
show.
Live. Hi, we're on the. Well, I'm not going to say it.
Line.
Do you give verbal consent?
Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
Big things.
Right. Well, thank you for your time and for sharing today. Really proud of all of you. It's great to see how things are opening up. And even if you think you're not making progress, you are. So it's coming. Just keep doing what you're doing. And listeners, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to check us out on social media at Real AF Program and our website at realafprogram.com. Our book, Real as Fuck Guide for New Real Estate Agents, is available on Amazon and other book outlets online. Make sure you subscribe to our Spotify channel so you get updated every time we drop a new podcast. And check out our website at realafprogram.com.